that will involve creating a public and private key pair for asymmetric cryptography. It's a small exercise where we have two terminals here. We are running Docker here on both of these terminals so that both of them look like they're two different terminals. So to get started, we're going to do a Docker run. We're going to call this the decryptor. Okay, oops. And we're going to call this the encryptor. Okay, so to do this, we're going to need GPG, which is GNU's version of PGP, pretty good privacy. So we're going to need to update these guys. And now let's do an apt-get install GPG. Okay, so now that we have GPG installed, we can do a help and notice that we need to generate some keys. And that involves going like so. Now, if you look here, when I went ahead and said gen key, it said we can use GPG full generate key for a full featured key generation dialog. So I want to go and do that. I want to cancel this and do that again. You could even full gen key. You can even do it short. So I'm going to pick one for RSA. What size key? Let's do a large one. Let's have it valid for 1 day. Yes, this is correct. I want it to end by tomorrow. I'm going to put my dog's name in, give him an email address. I'm going to say it's dog eat dog world. Okay, and I'm going to give it a little password. And over here, what's interesting, it says we need to generate a lot of random bytes. It's a good idea to perform some other action. Type on the keyboard, move the mouse, utilize the disks during the prime generation. This gives the random number generator a better chance to gain enough entropy. I found this interesting because I guess any other random movement of the computer will make some randomness to the public and private key pairing. So now we have a public key right here, and the ID is Charlie. Here's the comment I put in and the email address. So I'm going to take a look at what I have in my file system here, which I don't really have much. So I'm going to export this into ASCII. So I'm going to do GPG export into ASCII, but this is really ARMOR. And I'm going to choose the name of the ID, and the output is going to be the public key .gpg. Let's take a look what we have here. Now let me take a look at it. And here is my key. Now I want to be able to send this key over to this terminal right here. And to do that, I'm going to install Netcat. Okay, yes, yes. So now that I have Netcat in, I want to see the IP addresses Okay, so let me send over this public key. I'm going to do netcat and the file is going to be nope, not Charlie, it's going to be public key, and this guy has to listen to it, so I have to do, oops, I made a mistake here. So netcat-n, what's in 217.0.13, that's the port, and this is the file. So over here I'm going to listen in, and I'm going to call the file when it comes in. I'm going to call it public key also. Public key received. Oops. .gpg. So now it's listening on this port. So I'm going to hit enter here and received something. Let's take a look at it. List it. Now let me see if I received it. And here I have received it. Now I'm going to take this key here and I'm going to import it into GPG. Okay, and now I can take a look. GPG listed keys, or list keys actually, and I spelled it wrong the first time I noticed. List keys, and here it is. So here's my public key that I received from this terminal here, the decryptor guy. And now I'm going to see here, I'm going to add a, oh no, not really. Now I'm going to add in a text file. Okay, not right now. So I'm going to make a text file. Paste this guy in. Control D to save it. Now if I see it, I see my text file. Let me see if it reads it. Great. Now I'm going to encrypt it using GPG. I'm going to encrypt, and the receiver is Charlie, which is the ID of the public key, and I'm going to encrypt it with this file here named text file. And yes, use this key. It is not certain that the key belongs to the person named in the user ID. If you really know what you're doing, you may answer the next question with yes. So I do know what I'm doing. Now let's take a look what we have here. Now it created a file called textfile.text.gpg. So if I take a look at that, now it's in garbled encryption. I'm going to send this back over to the decryptor. So I'm going to reverse it. So I'm going to do netcat, and the host name here was IP is 12, so 172.0.17.0.12. I'm going to do this port here, and the file is going to be coming from textfile.gpg. Okay, oopsies, I'm not listening yet. So netcat.el. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and I'm going to call this the retrieve encrypted file.gpg. Okay, that's listening, sent, received. Let's list it. And here's my encrypted file. Let's take a look at it. Okay, now I'm going to decrypt it with GPG. Decrypt, let's see, encrypted file, GPG. And it's asking me for my password, and I'm going to put that in. And boom, here we are. So that is an exercise in how to make an asymmetric key encryption using a public and private key pairing. We sent over a public key, and it's still here, so we could take a look at that. GPG list key. So this is the public key that is received, and only this terminal here who has the private key will be able to unlock that. And that's that.